My name is, what is my name? Blaine Feightner, and I'm glad to be here this morning. Some of you have seen me around, and some of you have yet to meet me, but hopefully I'll get to meet you at some point in time. The theme of Lent, we're about halfway through the theme on the 7 deadly sins, and we've already been through envy and greed and pride, and we have a new picture up there this morning. And we have ones to come yet of lust and gluttony and anger. And I don't know why I couldn't have gotten one of those easy topics rather than sloth. I'm not exactly sure what sloth is. And gee, thanks, Father Ron, for picking this one for me. You know, maybe he knows something about myself that I don't know yet to be revealed here, huh? But I Googled it and tried to come up with, if you're on the internet, you can search anything on the internet. It may not tell you the truth, but you can search anything on the internet and it will give you an answer to that. And what I came up with was that it's an animal. You know, a sloth is a little cute animal, and that no way could that possibly be sin. But there is a definition that we can find for sloth. And maybe it's the word called retirement. And I thought when I got to retirement, all of my problems would be taken care of. You know, I have plenty of money to live on and convenient, and my wife would still work and support me. But she retired before I retired, so I haven't figured this out yet. I'm doing something wrong. Is there anything that you're passionate about? Anything that you really, really couldn't get along without? Could you get along without the internet? Huh? That's all you've known, you know. How about the Game Boy? Could you get along without that? Huh? That'd be giving up a lot. How about college basketball? Huh? Could you give up with that without that? Did anybody win the $1 billion yet? Huh? What were the odds on that? I don't know, astronomical. And I think there's a lot of things that we do with our idle time. What do you like to do? Read, play golf, plant flowers? Is there something that in your life that you could not give up? When I'm in the grocery store or any other store, and the checkout line, somebody's standing there with their cell phone. And I think, what is so important that they have to be on their cell phone 24 hours a day? Could you give that up? Good. We're going to make a collection and collect all your phones, and we can use that to put it in the budget then, right? Very good, very good. Don and I have only been here a few months, and when we retired, we looked around for a congregation. I've visited, over the years that I've come to Myrtle Beach, I've visited a good number of congregations. And, you know, I think that we try to, maybe in Lent, to give something up. And maybe we're able to do that, or maybe we don't think about it. But it's not too late to re-examine that and see if there's, to look inside of ourselves and see if there's something that we could give up. Maybe that cell phone for a few weeks. Maybe we could do that. But I think we like this congregation because it's transforming people's lives. And I've heard a number of stories already. And what I wanted to do, right back there in that pew, right there between those two ladies, that's where I want to sit, right back there. So save that for me. When I got here, I just wanted to be in the back and just listen to a good sermon and a dynamic preacher, which I think Father Ron really is. I really appreciate his meditations and his sermons. And I just wanted to kind of take it easy and not get involved. I've done it, I've been there, and I'm not looking for anything else to do, right? I thought maybe when we come down here and go to Merle's Inlet, take a boat out on a 3-hour cruise and go down to Shelling down in Georgetown, And I want to do the plantation tour, which is about 3 hours from the boat. I thought maybe I could do that. Am I a little loud or am I all right? And when you come to this area, you have to be able to be a golfer. And my favorite course is over at Surfside over there, and it's called Gilligan's Island. So that's about the limit that I can do. And on Gilligan's Island, we're trying to do a loose theme of that on there, and you try to figure out who the skipper was. If you can remember the characters in there, the skipper is one of them that really is my man at heart. He loves Gilligan, and he tries to do, but he's kind of laid back, lazy type guy. That's kind of like me, you know. I'm willing to do things, but not too much at all. So, you know, I think that we do things and we are involved in things, and maybe we need to pick and choose what we need to do. When we came from Maryland, and Don and I joined the Journey class, which that's the class you have today. You have somebody lined up for that this afternoon after this session? Oh, in a week, okay. We came to the Journey class, and we sat through that, and we listened to that, and Father Ron is very confronting type person, if you haven't noticed. You know, he gets in your face, you know, and he says, now, if you're going to join my church, I don't want you to sit in the back pew, and I don't want you to do anything. I want you to get involved, and I want you to be able to find some niche, some little piece that you can be able to do. And I confronted him after one of the classes, and I said, Father Ron, I think you're asking too much. You know, some of us have already done it in the churches we've been in. Some of us have been active, you know, and we just want to take it kind of easy. But he kept challenging us, and I accepted that challenge. And I keep reminding him that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I can't do all the things I used to do. And New Beginnings, I came and helped with that the other week, and we washed 300 dozen eggs or something like that. I can't do that anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's demanding too much. I think we pray about a lot of different things, we as a church and we as individuals. And I think of the civilians in Ukraine and what's going on over there and what's happened in history and during World War II and where it's going to lead us and what's going to be about us. But maybe we need to take more time to pray for those individuals and their nation and what's going to happen. On the nightly news, I see starving children in Syria, and it touches my heart deeply. And with my time and my talents and my resources, I want to reach out to them, and I want to be able to help them and to do something, but I'm just not sure what I'm able to do in that situation. You know, I think we should take a look and try to examine, maybe to figure out where our fruits can be best multiplied. Maybe we're good at this or we're good at that. When we ask somebody to do something, some people are good organizers and some people are good cake bakers. And on the building project, maybe somebody can just come and sweep up the debris from the workmen. There's always some task that we can do. God asks me, what can I do in certain situations? Whether it be at the grocery store, you're standing behind a mother who's hollering and lost their patience with a child, or whether it's a worker that's being bawled out by their boss. Maybe what can we do? Maybe we need to step in and stand up and try to be able to help someone else. God, what do you expect me to do in this situation? Is there anything I can do, or maybe it's somebody else's turn? I know in foreign countries, a lot of times when you ask an individual for directions, they will drop whatever they're doing and they will take you to your location. It's their culture that they have to be able to do for you no matter what the cost or what the expense is. But I think when somebody asks me to come up with a pledge for an assistant or whatever it is, I pull out my checkbook and I have to look in there to see how much is in the checkbook. Rarely, if ever, do I take and write a blank check and say, just fill in the amount. I think that might be a little bit of foolishness to be able to do that. That's what we need to be able to do. What does God require of me? Maybe diligence in whatever situation means that we try to be able to see what's expected of us and to be able to provide and do in that situation, considering our resources. I know as a pastor, when you ask somebody, will you be on this committee, or will you help me out on this project, or on the New Beginnings, or whatever it is, people's eyeballs, they just roll. They just think of all the things. I have to look at my calendar. I have to ask my family. I have to try to see what I can do and what I can't do. And sometimes the answer is no, I can't do it. I have too many commitments. And other times the answer is there's no reason why I can't do what you're asking me to do. Jesus sets the example of diligence. He uses his energies to do the task that the Father had given him. He rejects all the distractions that are going on around us, and we have so many things that are bombarding us as to why we can't do this or why we can't do that. But I think, maybe sometimes the answer is yes. In the Buddhist religion, you are expected to read Scripture 10,000 times a day. And that's why I'm not a Buddhist. I can't do that. 10,000 times a day. I don't know whether you have any time for anything else. But Jesus, he says, pray unceasingly. You ever try that? I fall asleep, or I'm driving, and it doesn't exactly work. Maybe God is requiring too much of us. If you remember Moses, when God called him, Moses said, send my brother, send Aaron. He's better qualified. And that's usually what we think. We think of all the other people that are better qualified than ourselves. But yet we can do many things. I think from this morning's reading there, we had Ecclesiastes. It's my favorite book. You have a favorite book? Dana, you have a favorite book? Ecclesiastes. It's about this old preacher who's retired. And he sits down at the end of life and he thinks about all the things. He thinks about all the things he's achieved in the past and everything that's going on. He says, vanity of vanities. Everything is vanity. What makes a difference? Has anything that I've done made a difference? Preachers like to ask, do you remember my last sermon? And everybody says, huh? What did we do it for? But vanity of vanities, I think I'm there, and I look at my checkbook, I look at my stock market account, I look at what I have left that I've pared down after our move, and I think, what is all this for? When we moved, we discovered we had a lot of things that we couldn't move, so we asked family members and friends and neighbors if they wanted some of our prized possessions. Nobody ever came and got any of our junk. Huh? All those things that we have acquired. I think also this week about the airplane that was headed to China with all those souls on board. And every morning I wake up, I turn on CNN to see what the latest is, what's going on, what's happened. And they say that there was a deliberate course change. Now, we don't know whether that's one of the pilots. We don't know whether that's a terrorist. We don't know whether it was automatically programmed, but something made that plane turn and veer off its course. And I think that's what we're talking about this morning, is the deadly sins that if we're not careful, something will drive us off our course and we won't be able to get back in a right relationship with God. In the gospel lesson this morning from John, it says, do you want to be healed? And the man's been sick for 38 years. What a question. Do you want to be healed? Do we want to be changed? No, I want to sit in the back pew and I don't want to do anything and I just want to listen to a good sermon. I don't want to do it. Maybe another time and another place. But the question comes to us, are we going to do anything about it? Sometimes in life, we are on a normal course of life and we're not even thinking about it. And something, some event comes along and changes our life. Maybe it's a car accident. Maybe it's a deer running out in front of us. Maybe it's an individual who says, will you give me $100? Maybe it's being fired or laid off or a job change. There are so many things that happen in our life along the way that changes who we are forever. And if we're not careful, our sin hijacks us and separates us from the love of Christ. We need to wake up and get off that lazy sofa there. Oh, by the way, I know when you came to my house, it was exactly depicted as it is there. We need to take deliberate action to take charge of our life with the help of God. We need to take a hard turn towards the cross and let Jesus be in charge of everything that we do. But it takes a deliberate action and choice with the help of God. May the peace of God be with you.